Welcome to Performance Sales Training, Performance Sales Consulting. I am Jason Thompson, and we're going to talk about a really basic one, guys. Before we start, hit the like button, if you will, share with somebody that needs it. And again, pretty basic, doesn't mean we're doing it. Environment matters. I don't think we need to discuss that any further, do we? So the environment for which you sell is obviously important, but nevertheless, let's review, shall we? Number one, we want to sell in a quiet, clean, uncluttered environment. An office is ideal, preferably with the door closed, preferably. I know not all locations that's possible. I've sold in areas where, like health clubs, for example, where you have a very open area and you're sitting at a table or what have you, and there's a lot of people going around. It's not ideal, but as long as it's quiet and you're sitting down, which we'll get to in a second, it's okay. But you don't want it to be loud. You don't want it to be, just interruptions. People coming by, interrupting the conversation, people vacuuming around you, people having loud conversations near you, coworkers having loud conversations. I've seen this and I've experienced it, and it's unbelievably rude. It's unbelievably unprofessional. And unfortunately, it happens all the time because there's people who just don't understand sales. And because you do and your team does, your team members do, doesn't mean that everybody around you does, and even some of your team members don't. So it's really rude, really disrespectful. But the point is that don't put yourself in that situation to start with. Either way, I don't care where you sell. I mean, I prefer to be in an office, but we always want our prospects sitting down. That's number two. Do not sell standing up. When it's time to perform a professional needs analysis, that's how the sales process occurs. So again, no matter how they came in contact with you and you're engaging them, when it comes time to actually be with them in terms of closing or doing a needs analysis or sales presentation, we don't do this on the fly, guys. I want you to think of Vegas. When you're in Las Vegas and they're spending money, you're spending money. What is the casino? The professional casinos, the best at making money. What do? Are there any clocks around? Are there any distractions? It's loud, sure, but the loud is part of the excitement. But most of the people are sitting down, not all of them. But it's closed off. There's oxygen pumping in, right? There's no windows. There's no distractions. You're right there. You're in the moment. It gets you, right? And you start having drinks. You're spending money, right? No interruptions, no distractions, no concept of time. Complete attention to them, to their goals, to their concerns, to their driving want. And stay away from the noise in any environment where they don't feel comfortable telling you their story. I have 1,000 examples of how unprofessional this can be and how it can totally screw up your sale. And you can be doing a wonderful job, presenting perfectly, you're very professional, doing everything the correct way, and your environment screws it up because you're selling from an environment. Sometimes you can control it, sometimes you can't. I'll give you an example. I was selling in one of those open forums I was telling you about, and I was conducting a price presentation. Actually, I was conducting a needs analysis. It was before I even got to the price presentation. And I'm sitting down, and my coworkers are close to me. They're not far enough, but they're at a desk far enough away. They're standing up, but there's like 5 of them, 6 of them, and they're incredibly loud, and they're joking, but they're like next level loud. And I'm looking over there, I'm thinking to myself, read the room. I mean, it's one thing to have a small conversation between 2 people. It's another thing to, everybody's laughing. It's like a party over there, so completely obnoxious. And then there's another time, same scenario, but this time there was a porter walking around me, literally vacuuming. It's like the loudest vacuum ever. And they're vacuuming around my sales presentation. And I'm looking at them going, are you serious right now? So environment matters. Now, neither one of those things would have happened if I were in an office environment. These things happen all the time, guys. If you can, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's not professional in any other situations. I mean, how can your potential prospective client take you seriously in that environment that's so unprofessional? It's impossible. So stay away from that and get in an office. The easiest way to figure out if you're in a good environment is simply ask yourself this. If I were a doctor, you were a doctor, would a patient that you're helping be comfortable talking about their health to me in the environment? And particularly a new patient. In other words, because we're talking about their health, they're telling us to disclose some very personal information, sometimes very embarrassing information. If you've been in this industry for a while, or health and wellness industry, in any way, shape, or form, you'll have people that come in and if they feel comfortable with you, they'll start crying because these goals are so personal to them and their driving want is so personal to them. Is that going to be possible for them to feel comfortable enough to disclose what they need to disclose to you to get the help that they need? If they're in an environment where there's so many people around, there's so much noise, or people are walking by all the time, it's just not professional. Number 3, no clutter on the desk. Again, we want to be sitting down. We like to be in an office ideally, but no clutter. We don't want any obstructive view. So if I walk into an office and there's, the computer's over here and there's books here and there's papers all over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all that off, because sometimes you have to sit in somebody else's desk. I'll move all their clutter out of the way and have a direct line of sight, unobstructed. Because again, we want them to be comfortable. And we want to be able to read their body language. That's very important. So anything that's going to prevent us from connecting, even if it's a physical thing, we want out of the way, and we want to be able to read their body language, great eye contact. If I want to lean over and have a discussion, I have the ability to do so. And it helps them feel comfortable. Does anyone feel comfortable in a chaotic environment? Part of that chaos we talked about, besides just being loud and obnoxious and having distractions of people walking by and interrupting, is the clutter. Have you ever been in a really cluttered environment? Somebody's house was really cluttered. How comfortable did you feel? It's chaotic, isn't it? Like there's no peace there. Are you going to feel mentally ready to disclose information that's really important to yourself? Are you going to feel comfortable? No, you're going to feel chaotic. And you're not going to disclose. You're going to be rushed. You're not going to feel comfortable disclosing the information that you need to disclose to get the help that you need. Remember, everything that we're doing when we first meet them is to build a relationship. That's priority number 1. We're building a relationship, and you can't do that if they're not comfortable. Lastly, as we know, it's always important to inhabit the potential client's state of mind. Where are they right now, emotionally and mentally? Empathy. We have to be able to empathize with them. We know our environment because we're there. We're comfortable with it. We're used to, let's say it's a health club, for example, because the health club's notorious for being intimidating. So we know it's comfortable for us. We know it's comfortable for us because we're in the environment all the time. So we kind of take it for granted. But for them, it's new. And many of the people, when they come in, they naturally feel intimidated or frustrated because they've tried to do this 1,000 times. They're scared. They're overwhelmed. So the first part of making them feel comfortable and building a relationship is taking the edge off a little bit. Joke with them. We're building rapport. We're building that relationship. So the very least we can do is opening up. If we're opening up our houses, making somebody feel warm and hospitable and comfortable, then we need to provide them with a comfortable environment that's conducive to sales, conducive to building that relationship. One where people can openly talk about their health and openly talk about their potential insecurities in a very intimate setup, ideally. A professional office would be ideal. Because again, if you don't even have a professional environment for which to sell from, how are they going to take you? How many deals are you going to lose that way that you're not even aware that you lost? You have to have, that's a no-brainer, guys. So we can't expect them to consider us professionals and therefore invest in us if we don't present ourselves in our selling environment as professional. So guys, pretty basic, fundamental stuff. I'm not overwhelming you with anything new here, probably, okay? But the most basic stuff is always the most important. And simply because it's basic and fundamental doesn't mean we're doing it. And in fact, if you're having a hard time closing or getting clients or retaining clients, whether you're a business or you're a fitness professional, independent fitness professional, that means that some of the fundamentals are not being met. It's as simple as that. It's not anything fancy that you're not doing, I promise you. It's something fundamental in your game, something fundamental in your approach that you're not getting. And if you're having a hard time with it, again, whether you're a business, send to a health club or massage therapy studio, chiropractic studio, whatever the case may be, or you're an individual personal trainer or a fitness professional. If you need help, I'll leave a link down here. I will put my email address on there. Contact me ASAP. I'll give you a complimentary consult. We'll talk about what you want to get out of this. And I promise you, I will find you a solution. So until next time, guys,